Tyler1 has just hit Challenger on top lane, and this would make it his third role to be hitting Challenger, with the three roles being AD carry, jungle, and top lane. And the biggest things about Tyler1 and his gameplay, and the reason that he's always able to hit Challenger, is that he is the most self-aware player that exists in League of Legends. Now, in earlier seasons with context, Tyler1 hit Challenger with Draven, with Quinn. Very high mechanical champions, and these are the champions that are still able to hit Challenger, but Tyler1 is not able to hit Challenger with him anymore. The longer the game goes on, the higher the mechanical floor goes. So a player who was very good mechanically in earlier seasons is going to be an average mechanical player now. You can see this very often in professional play with junglers specifically, where many junglers will come into the scene being Lee Sin gods who are playing super hyper mechanical jungle and just outplaying everybody. And over the time throughout their careers, their mechanics aren't necessarily able to keep up, and so they'll start playing champions like Sejuani and focusing more around playing around their team and being a good team player. And this is exactly what Tyler1 has been able to do. Tyler1, his champions that he is playing are the most selfless champions you really possibly could have. In AD carry, he's been playing Heimer and Arthas. Two champions that can play weak side and two champions who can be very, very good fills for a team. In many games, people will just play full AD topside, and the ability to have an AP bot laner is a massive sacrifice for his team, whereas most AD carries aren't willing to play non-AD carries bot. Most bot lane players won't play something like Swain, something like Heimerdinger, something like Karthus, even though very often these champions are going to be the best champions to hit a team and the best champions to actually get wins on the server, which is the thing that Tyler1 is very, very good at noticing, is how he can fit into his solo queue teams. When he's playing jungle, Tyler1 will play Ivern, an enchanter who's really, really good at helping and assisting his team. And when he plays top lane, he plays many, many weak side picks. He will play Cho'Gath, Urgot, Aatrox, Quinn, Heimerdinger. And the thing about top Quinn is that it's a much more roam-heavy playstyle. And when he tried to play carry champions in Aurelia, it did not exactly work, and he had a 45% win rate over 200 games. So his method to getting into Challenger was being the strongest weak side player he could be. Not only was he constantly teleporting to other different lanes in order to help his team at the sacrifice of himself. Very often when a wave state would be terrible, he would still go and help his team. Even though it might have put him behind, it'll still put his team in a position to win. And Tyler1 is a champion, or Tyler1's champions will be champions who can have success without necessarily having the most gold in the game. And Tyler1, to some degree, since he's Tyler1, people are going to want to camp him. People are going to want to pay attention to him more. So Tyler1 gets a lot of attention, and one thing is that he does not die to ganks as much as he should die to ganks, because he is trying to play weak side, and weak side is basically just a side that's not really getting as many attention, as many resources. And Tyler1 being able to be a weak side player and not constantly die to the enemy team just automatically puts his team in such a huge advantage, because the enemy team is spending so many resources on him and they're not getting things from it. The number one thing that everybody likes to do in solo queue is just be strong side. Bot lane wants to be strong side. Mid wants to be played to. Jungle wants to be played to. Top lane wants to be played to. And if you can be a player, if you can be a pressure vacuum for your team, where all of the pressure from the team is coming to you and you are able to absorb it properly, that'll give you just massive, insane advantage for your team. And that is something that can get you to Challenger without necessarily being the strongest mechanical player, which Tyler1 is not anymore. And ultimately, Tyler1 has the least ego out of really any player. There's no ego in Tyler1's gameplay, despite what you might see in his stream persona. He's willing to just play whatever it takes to win. And this is also one thing that you will see with his Twitch Rivals gameplay, where he can take somebody like Tarzan, who is known to not necessarily work well in a team environment, and he's able to wrangle in Tarzan and make him work. And Tarzan is one of the best junglers in NA, if not the best. And the amount of benefit that Tyler1 has been able to get to being the kind of person to make Tarzan work is why he's so good. He's willing to just do whatever he can to sacrifice for his team. And Tyler1 isn't trying to play flashy, he's playing to win. And because he's playing to win games in the server, this is how he's able to hit Challenger. And ultimately, he's just somebody who plays to his strengths, not trying to be super flashy. And this is why I know that Tyler1 will be able to hit Challenger with both mid and support, which we'll be doing soon. And I imagine when he's going to be playing mid lane, he'll also be playing sort of weak side mid laners or supportive mid laners. He might pick up maybe like Karma mid, Galio, Twisted Fate, Tryndamere, Nocturne. Champions that can be really good at impacting the map and helping their team. I don't imagine that Tyler will have much success or very often try to play carry mid laners, because the skill required to play carry mid laners at a Challenger level is not something that I think Tyler will ever be able to have. And I can definitely say that he is going to be playing what will work for him. And that is just not going to be carry champions. So that, ultimately, the biggest reasons why Tyler1 is so successful in all of these challenges is being able to play to his strengths, not having any ego in his gameplay, and being completely self-aware. A couple other things that he's also just built different, you know? Not just physically, but mentally. You will look at other players who try to do these new role to Challenger grinds, like TF Blade. TF Blade got stuck in Diamond 2 and then just quit, whereas TF Blade has the mechanics. He has the hands to be able to get to Challenger on AD carry. However, he does not have the mindset. And that mindset of Tyler1 had many, many times to where he just demoted to Diamond. He played 35 different Master Tier promos, but he has the will, he has the determination to do it, to get it done. And he was able to get through 35 different Masters promos where almost anybody else would quit. He had the determination to just keep on sticking to it because he knew he could do it. And other players don't necessarily have that mindset. They're just not built like that, either mentally or physically. And the fact that he's been able to grind so many games is also a testament to his physical health. If really any other player tried to play as much as Tyler1, Tyler1 is not only just very physically in shape, but he's also playing more than almost any other streamer and player. And this also kind of goes into another thing, is that Tyler1 is just the most genuine streamer that really exists. He's not somebody that'll ever kind of like bullshit you, and he doesn't do things to stream for sort of like clout. He does what he wants, which is to play League for 16 hours a day because he's addicted. And maybe that's not the best financial move for him, but it is the best move for him and his like personality, his like soul. Tyler1 has a much more successful time streaming because he's simply just doing what he wants. And a lot of other people are going to sacrifice that. A lot of other streamers will sacrifice what they want to do what is going to be the most financial decision in the short term. And because Tyler1 not only is just so in both his gameplay and his stream, he's just incredibly genuine and self-aware. He knows what works for him and he does it. Doesn't try to do things that will be short-term plays to make money. Say if Tyler1 played GTA RP, he probably would be the biggest streamer on Twitch. But he doesn't do that kind of stuff because he knows that that isn't sustainable for him. And so he does what he knows will work, which is just simply what he wants. And that's why Tyler1 is so great, both as a player and as a streamer. Self-awareness and being able to play to your strengths, and that is what Tyler1 is best at. Thank you guys all for watching. See you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye, and good night.